you actually should lose hope. Stay tuned to find out what I mean. Hey, this is Damon Cart from NLP Gym. You should lose hope. If you haven't already, please click subscribe to this YouTube channel so you can get these videos on a regular basis. I know that sounds really negative to hear me say that I think you should lose hope. So let's make a distinction, a very clear distinction here between losing hope the way that I'm talking about and when a person feels like they've lost all hope, like they might be suicidal. So I don't mean it that way. There is a hopelessness that people experience when they're usually suicidal or they want to hurt themselves or they're severely depressed. And that's not what I'm talking about. So I'm not saying that you should be in that state. The type of hope that I mean is the hope that you're going to achieve what it is that you want, the hope that you're going to be successful, the hope that you find somebody to partner with and live your life with and have a great relationship, the hope that you create the life that you desire. That hope is actually a scarcity state, because when you hope, you're actually waiting for something. When you're hoping, you're not in control. Anytime I'm coaching a client and they tell me something like they want more hope in their life, or they're hoping that they will get whatever it is that they want, right away we deal with that, because like I said, that is a state of scarcity. And I see so much in personal development, these motivational videos about hope and having hope and how to have more hope. And I just watch that, or I hear people talking about that, and I just want to interrupt that and say, okay, if you're in that state of hoping, that means you're not in control. That means you don't have choice. And choice, we always have choice. We might not have exactly the choices that we want, but we always have choices. And so what you want to do is you want to move out of that state of hope, because when you're in a state of hope, it's sort of like you've given up. It's sort of like you're saying, I don't have choice, I don't have control, so I'm going to hope. I'm going to invest my energy in hoping that I get what I want, hoping that everything works out. When you're in that state, you've just given up all your control and all choice. So what you want to do is you want to go back into a state of being in control and having choice. Now some people might say, well, no, I really have no choice. I can't think of any situation where that is absolutely true. You always have choices. Again, they might not be the choices that you want, but take the time to stop and really examine what's available to you. When you're in a state of hope or in a state of scarcity, or you're waiting for something, it does feel like that. It does seem like that. It does seem like you have no other resources, you have no other choices. So get out of that state. And one way you can get out of that state is by really taking a step back and getting very clear and very honest with yourself and saying, okay, what if I did have choice in this situation? What choices do I have? And start pulling those in. And the more you start to pull these in, even if they're crappy choices, even if they're choices that you don't like, suddenly you'll get a sense of being more in control. The simple idea that you can even choose between a 3 or 4 or 5 crappy choices is better than feeling like you have no choice. The feeling of no choice is a feeling of lacking freedom and a feeling of not having access to your resources. So start pulling in the choices, start asking yourself, well, what is it that you need? And when I say what is it you need, not anything external, because if we think of needing something that's external, then again, we're hoping we can get that, whatever it is that we need. We're waiting for it to come to us, and we're not in control. We don't have choice. So what is it within yourself that you need to connect with? What is it you need within yourself that you need access to in order to get what it is that you want, in order to have more choice, in order to have more control? So it's those inner resources that are not available to you that is keeping you in that scarcity state. So when you're hoping, that cuts off access to those inner resources. When you're hoping and you're waiting, that means you're depending on something external, and that's not in your control. You can't control weather, you can't control other people, you can't control certain events that are happening outside of you. You can control what's happening inside of you. You do have choice with you, with yourself. So that's where you put your focus at. Put your focus on the things that you are doing well. Put your focus on the things that you already have choice and control over, or that you feel that you have choice and control over, and capitalize on them. So like, for example, there are certain things in my businesses that I don't feel like I have that much control over. So if I have that feeling, then I know I'm putting my attention in the wrong place. Because the more I go in that direction, the more I'm going to start relying on hope or luck. That's even worse, when people rely on luck. When people think that they're going to win the lottery and that's their retirement plan. And there are people who really believe this stuff. They kind of sort of unconsciously believe it. And if you ask them, or you bring it into consciousness, they'll say, oh yeah, well that's not going to happen. But a lot of people have these weird beliefs in the back of their mind that really is, the core of it is coming from hope. Whenever you play the lottery, and this is something that I learned from two friends of mine, actually, two very successful friends of mine. And one is, he's a poker player, he knows odds, he knows numbers very well, and he held some record in math whenever he was like in high school or something like that. So he just knows the numbers really well. And he found out that I was playing the lottery, and I was like playing the lottery, like I'd buy 1 or 2 tickets a month. It wasn't even a big deal. And he said, well, what a waste of money that is. And I'm thinking, $1 or $2, like a waste of money. But in his mind, because the odds were not there, and this was all based in hope and in not in control and not having choice, to him it was a complete waste. Not only that, it was putting your attention in the wrong place. And then my other friend, who's also very successful, when I told him that story, he said, well, yeah, I don't ever play the lottery, never. And I just said, well, why? What's the big deal? It's just $1 or $2. And he said, well, I like to earn my money. And what he was saying is not that I like to work really hard or I like to do a lot of work. What he was basically saying is he likes to put his attention where he has control. He likes to put his attention with the things that he can build, that he can create, instead of waiting for something or hoping or luck or chance or any of those things. That mentality keeps your success away from you. So these two friends of mine, very successful, and one of the reasons why is because they don't engage in that mentality. They don't put their energy there. They don't put their focus there. They put their focus on what they can do, what they have control over, and then they expand that control and that choice to more areas. They start where they're strong, and then they spread that over to the areas where maybe they're not so strong, or where they're weak, or into the unknown. If you're engaging in hope, stop right now. Think about what you have control over. Think about the areas in your life where you feel like you have a lot of choice, you have a lot of freedom, and where you're strong. And start there, and start building on that. Start building on what you already have control over. Start building on what you feel like you have a lot of choice on, and then move from there. So there are things in my business where I don't know things very well, or I don't feel like I have a lot of choice, or that I'm really good at. So there's two things for me to look at when I have that feeling. That is this something that I should outsource and pay someone to do it? Someone who knows better than I do. And some of these things, it would just be a waste of time. I'd be wasting business time. I'd be wasting my energy, my focus, because it's just things that I'm never going to be that good at. And the main reason that is because I'm just not so interested in them. There are parts of my business where I might not have a lot of interest in that part of the business, but I can do it really well. And I might need to do that for a while until I can pay someone else to do it. But there are just things that I am not good at. So it's better to just hand that over. And then there are some things where I don't know too much about it. I don't feel like I have a lot of choice about it, simply because I lack the knowledge. So I'm going to look into it, and maybe I can cultivate that understanding, that knowledge, that skill, and it might even be something that I enjoy. So I start with where I'm strong. I start with my love of learning. I start with the idea that by understanding this, by learning it, then I can then expand my business, or I can bring something into my life that I don't already have. So I'm basically just drawing on what I feel like I'm already good at, what I already have control over, and what I already have choice about. And then everything else, I'll pay someone to do it, because it's just not worth the frustration, not worth the time. And I'm certainly not going to hope that I get something, or hope that something gets better in my business. Always, when it comes to anything in your life, if you find yourself going to hope, know that interrupt that pattern, stop it, and then say, okay, what do I have control over? How can I make this happen? Or how can I have choice about this? And then if you don't have choice about it, or you don't feel like you have choice about it, or you don't feel like you have control, or you can't make it happen, then go to where you do, and then see how you can take from that area of your life and either map it across into this other area, or build on what you do have control over and choice, and move it, build a bridge to that other area of your life. Hoping, waiting, that's just a great way to completely stall out at anything that you're doing. And life is a big chunk, so you might have to chunk this down a little bit to the different areas of your life, because there are certainly areas in your life where you're not engaging in hope. There are areas in your life where you feel like you're in control and that you can do something about whatever it is that you want. You can make it happen if you wanted to. So find out what those areas are, and then find out the areas in your life where you feel like you're hoping and waiting. And those are the areas you need to work on. Go to my website, nlp-gym.com. There you will find free hypnotic inductions to help you with greater confidence and better well-being. And also, I have free NLP training that you can sign up for. It gets emailed to you directly, and it gives you instructions and exercises to do daily. Also, follow me on Facebook so you can get real-time updates on upcoming trainings that I'm doing and any other announcements. If you like this video, please click like right down here, and don't forget to hit the subscribe button as well as the bell so you'll get notified when I put new videos out. Take care.